Hi, my name is Dennis and welcome to IT Conversations. Today I'm here with Simon Townsend from IGEL and we're going to talk about IGEL COSMOS. Simon, welcome for being here and maybe you can introduce yourself, who you are and why you're so passionate about EUC.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. As you said, Simon Townsend. I'm the field-based CTO in EMEA for IGEL. Been with IGEL for about 5 years. And I've been in the EUC space now for probably over 20 years, wow, deploying things like Citrix and VMware and those types of technologies. I think EUCs are going through a very exciting time at the moment. Obviously, we've come out the back of COVID. During that time, I think a lot of organizations had to go and deploy remote work and probably spent a little bit too much on deploying laptops and getting everybody communicating over Teams and Zoom. But with Windows 11 migrations coming next year, Windows 10 going end of life, organizations looking at how they can reduce their IT budgets, secure their employees even further. I think end user compute, in particular the space around VDI, desktop as a service, is just about to see what I would call the fifth wave of end user compute come back. So exciting time to be in this space.
Yeah, thank you for your introduction. IGEL announced Cosmos at Disrupt 23. And I was curious, where does the name Cosmos come from?
It's a very good question. So for many years, we obviously sold hardware, thin clients. Around 2012, we started to see that organizations were buying our hardware because of the software and the management that went around it. And by the time we got to about 2016, we were really talking about IGEL OS, right? IGEL being an operating system. The name Cosmos came when we launched the new version of our product. So a new version of the OS, new version of management. We can talk about that in a second. But Cosmos was really about taking the OS that we'd really been focused on for so many years, and also looking at what happens when you go above the clouds, right? Because what we're starting to see is that we're not just an operating system that connects into VDI or desktop as a service anymore, but actually a workspace that can be deployed to enable a whole host of different work styles. Yeah. And so Cosmos was all about taking ourselves all the way up above the clouds. It was actually a name that came from one of our Linux developers, actually. He was at a E2E virtualization conference out in Rome one night, and I think they'd probably shared a few beers or two, and he sort of went back to his room with this idea of what the new product should be called. And he created a video for it as well and put the music to it and presented it. And we said, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. And IGEL Cosmos, the platform, was born.
All great ideas come from engineers and technical persons. Yeah. Let's dive into the technology. And maybe you can tell all our viewers about IGEL Cosmos and some of the new features in it.
Yeah, sure. So the primary reason why we continue to develop this platform is that people want to deploy secure workspaces. Workspaces that can be consumed when people are at home, when they're in the office, regardless of wherever they are. And workspaces that are either delivered via virtual desktop infrastructure, desktop as a service, or now applications that can be delivered from the cloud via the web. You think about Zoom and Teams and Office 365 and Salesforce and all of that sort of stuff. But it's all about how do we allow IT to do more with less and deliver these secure endpoints down to users so that users can do their work. Cosmos is a platform. It's a single product, if you like, but it's made up of 3 main components. There is a new version of the operating system that gets installed on everybody's device, laptop, thin client, desktop, whatever that might be. That's IGEL OS 12. Then there is a management layer, UMS 12, which IT use to manage tens of thousands of devices. And then there are some cloud services that IGEL provides to our customers. in particular an application portal so that customers can deploy new versions of applications faster than ever before. And secondly, an onboarding service so that new employees and new devices can be onboarded incredibly quickly.
And need the customers to host the cloud services themselves, or is IGEL providing that?
So the cloud services, such as the onboarding service in the application portal, they are hosted and delivered by our IGEL.
Oh, nice.
And they are used by the devices or the IT administrators in our customers. The management server and obviously the operating system that goes on the devices, that's all owned and maintained either by yourselves as a managed service provider or the customers themselves.
Oh, thank you. And if we're talking about UMS 12 and the OS 12, what are the main new features in that?
Yeah. So I've spent a lot of time talking to our existing customers. There's probably about 12,000 customers globally, 4 million endpoints. I would suggest that probably the number one feature or change to the latest version compared to anything we've seen on the market previously is the fact that it is now a modular-based operating system with independent applications. And what that simply means is that as a desktop, it operates more like your mobile phone would. In other words, the operating system can update independently of the apps, and we can also deploy and update applications independently of each other. And that for customers is super, super important because it means that our updates are more efficient, they're faster, they're easier to deploy. And if you think about where we are today, whether it's the Chrome browser, whether it's the Zoom client, whether it's the VMware Horizon client, they're all updating significantly quicker than they ever have done before. There are updates coming out every single week. So the ability to go to an application portal as an IT administrator, bring the latest version into your management platform, and then deploy that out, and just deploy out the incremental updates to tens of thousands of machines that could be very, very remote. That is actually a key benefit and a key difference in the IGEL Cosmos platform.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that to us. But can you tell us a little bit more about the integration with VMware Horizon and VMware Workspace ONE?
Of course, yeah. So I think first of all, we've been working with VMware, particularly on the Horizon side of the business for many, many years, as long as I can remember. And one of those new cloud services that we've introduced is the application portal. And what that application portal allows is that every time a new version of the Horizon client comes out, VMware can provide that to IGEL. We can put it onto the application portal, and it means that all of our customers suddenly have got the ability to automatically download that new version of the client and distribute it out extremely quickly. The second thing is that we have introduced single sign-on into the product. That gives us the ability to allow a user to authenticate when they log on first thing in the morning against their Azure Active Directory, Ping or Okta, whatever it might be, and then store those credentials and pass them through to their Horizon session and therefore connect into their virtual desktop, their virtual applications. So, I think one of the key things here is Workspace ONE and VMware for a long time have really been focused on simplifying the employee experience. How does someone literally come in the morning and get productive as quickly as possible? And I think lots of the features and lots of the integration that we've now bought, things like the onboarding service, single sign-on that I've mentioned, and the fact that we've got this application portal, they further simplify that user experience, allowing people just to access their workspace securely, but as quickly as possible.
Yeah, in a much easier way.
Correct, yeah.
Thank you for explaining that to us. But how can VMware customers benefit from it?
I think the number one benefit is that organizations are able to provide secure, cost-effective access to their VMware environment. You know, one of the key reasons why someone will look at Workspace ONE and look at Horizon is that they are looking to centralize their applications and their data, centralize their management, reduce their overall operational cost of IT, and deliver secure workspaces. And IGEL can play a very, very important part in that because of how secure our operating system is and how easy and hands-off it is to manage. So if you've invested, particularly in Horizon, if you've invested all that time and that money in implementing and configuring a Horizon environment to have Windows-based applications and desktops be and run centrally, whether it be from security or a cost point of view, it doesn't make a great deal of sense to then go and deploy a Windows laptop to then access a Windows virtualized desktop, right? And I think that's where IGEL can really add the value. And what we're seeing now is that lots of organizations who have acquired laptops and devices in 2021, 2022, they're not ready to do another hardware refresh and invest a load more money buying 1,000 new laptops. With IGEL, we can repurpose those devices, turn them into IGEL devices, super secure, easy to manage, straight into that VMware Horizon Workspace ONE environment.
Yeah. And not to forget, the carbon footprint you can reduce by this is enormous.
Correct, correct. Every new laptop that an organization doesn't need to buy is typically allowing them to offset around 400 kilograms of CO2 emissions, which is important in today's world.
Important.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Simon, for being here at ITQ. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for talking about IGEL Cosmos and every thing you explained today. To our viewers, if you like what you've seen and you want to know more about it, about Cosmos or upgrading, or you need help with something, you can email me. My email will be below. Thanks for watching. If you want to know more or you want to see more, please subscribe to our ITQ YouTube channel for more and upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.